So when it comes to company names, maybe you've seen companies ending their names with things like LLC or LTD or Co or Inc. Those are all fairly common, and those do have significance. There is a reason why companies add those to their name, and in this video I'm going to explain why that is. So some of the most common business endings or suffixes would be Inc. or Incorporated, Corp or Corporation, LTD or Limited, LLP, which is Limited Liability Partnership, LLC, which is Limited Liability Company, PC, which is Professional Corporation, or Co, which is just an abbreviation for company. So what do these actually mean and what do they imply? So for the first three that I mentioned, LTD, Inc, and Corp, those three are interchangeable and they basically just imply that the business is an incorporated business. So you can have the abbreviation like Inc, Corp, or LTD, or you can have the full word written out like Limited, Incorporated, or Corporation. So if you see any one of those three, or six when including the abbreviations, that means that that particular business is a corporation, that it's a separate legal entity, it has been incorporated. So incorporation, think of the word corp in English, corpse, corporal, it means body, or cuerpo in Spanish. So to incorporate means to embody. So when you incorporate, you're kind of creating like a separate body. It's almost like creating a new human, not quite the same, but it's a separate legal entity from the owner of the business. So when that new legal entity is created, it's going to require that you have one of those suffixes added, at least in Canada and the US. I think it's pretty standard across the world, but of course I can't speak for all countries. But when you have a corporation like that, typically it's one of those 6 endings. And sometimes there's other languages in a country that can be used, but it's basically symbolizing that it's a corporation. Now, one important thing to note is that if your business is not a corporation, you can't use those. It's misleading. It's basically designated for corporations. And so if you see a business name that doesn't have one of those attached to the end, it's probably not an incorporated business. So the legal structure is maybe a sole proprietorship or partnership or something like that. Now, what about LLC and LLP? Those are pretty common in certain industries, especially LLP, like for lawyers or accountants. LLP stands for Limited Liability Partnership, which is also a form of legal structure, but it's not incorporated. And then Limited Liability Company, LLC, again, it's just a certain type of legal structure for a business. And LLC is more just based in the United States. It's a legal entity that they have there that we don't have in Canada. And as the LL states in both, limited liability, it's just a legal structure that has limited liability for the partners or for the owners, kind of like a corporation does without actually incorporating. And also like Inc, LTD, and Corp, as those can only be added to a corporation, LLC and LLP can only be added when the company is actually set up and registered under that legal structure of a limited liability partnership or a limited liability company. So one of the other ones that I mentioned was PC, which I don't see very much, but that would stand for professional corporation. So in some jurisdictions, some industries can create professional corporations just for an individual. Think like real estate agents, doctors, dentists. Those would be common industries and common professions where sometimes the practitioners can kind of self-incorporate into a professional corporation that is designated for that particular profession in that particular industry. And it's not really possible for all types of industries. Again, it depends on the jurisdiction as well. And then the last one would be Co, so CO period, which is really just an abbreviation for company. So that doesn't really imply anything. It doesn't imply a certain legal structure necessarily. So maybe, for example, it's like Jameson Clothing Co. That would just mean like Jameson is the distinctive name, clothing is the descriptive, and Co just means company. So it's just abbreviating the word company to say it's a company, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a sole proprietorship or a corporation or anything like that. So hopefully that was helpful, and hopefully that clears up some confusion about business names and suffixes on business names. If you found any value in the video, please click like. And if you want, you can check out my YouTube channel here where I have over 100 videos talking about business management and business startup topics. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the comment section. And if you're looking to work with a business consultant who can help you start your business or improve your business, feel free to book a 1-hour free consultation with myself, and I will leave a link to that in the video description.